There ain't no other love ever compared to you. You've got to trust me now. I've searched my whole life through. Been round this great.
Hello, and thanks again for joining us. We have some really important information about short sales and foreclosures that every homeowner is going to want to hear and know about. I want to first introduce you to Jeff Firnstahl, owner of Team Firnstahl Real Estate Services that is located in Andover, but who is also serving the entire Twin Cities and surrounding suburban areas. Thanks for being here, Jeff.
Oh, Catherine, it's my pleasure to be here and talk about such an important subject.
Yeah, you know, your credentials are so impressive. You have been interviewed and recognized by the top trainers in the world. You're one of 6 instructors in the nation. And I want to also bring up, it looks like you've made the cover of this magazine. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you is if you can explain to us who and exactly who you're teaching across the country.
I teach for the Sharfen Institute, which is the author of the CDPE designation, which stands for Certified Distressed Property Expert, which is the designation that over 40,000 real estate agents have earned over our country. And it's actually the designation that most of the banks are asking, or many of the banks, I should say, are asking the real estate agents that are involved in short sales to have.
We certainly know that if you're doing this, you are the right person that we're going to want to come to for any kind of help or questions on foreclosures or short sales. This is very important, and today homeowners are not getting the right answers to their questions.
They're being misled is what they are. They go to the real estate agent and the real estate agent says, well, short sales are too much trouble, we can't get them approved, they're too much of a hassle. The National Association of Realtors says there's only a 20% success rate in short sales, and it's all because of the training. If the agents are trained properly, they can get these closed.
Why don't we talk about what is the difference between a foreclosure and a short sale, and how is it going to impact future credit?
Foreclosure is when the bank owns the property. They've taken the property, they've thrown the people out. It's a traumatic experience. A short sale is a pre-foreclosure. It is when the seller deeds the property directly to the bank agrees to take less for the home than's owed on it. So it's a dignified solution to a very traumatic situation. The seller deeds directly to the new buyer. There's less impact on their credit. There's less possible deficiency judgments. There's less possible tax consequences. It is a win-win for the homeowner, for the bank, for our country, for the neighborhoods, for everybody. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. And when you mention credit scores, this is going to help their credit scores, and in a world that we live in today, credit scores are very important in our daily lives.
There's no reporting on a credit bureau specifically for short sales. There is for foreclosures, but not specifically for short sales. People can do a short sale today if they close current, in other words, never missing a payment. They can go buy FHA immediately. They can go buy a new house immediately, FHA. If they've missed a payment or two, they may have to wait 2 years, maybe 3 years. But if they let it go into foreclosure, it could be 5 to 7 years before they buy a house again.
That's really important
It's
information to know, and I bet a lot of people don't even realize that.
They don't.
What the statistics are showing that 1 out of 7 homeowners in America are behind on mortgage payments. Why would a bank prefer a short sale opposed to, say, someone who's just going to walk away from their home?
A wonderful question. The banks save on average 35% roughly across our country doing a short sale versus letting the house go into foreclosure. So the banks much rather do a short sale than a foreclosure. It is much more cost effective for them.
And the banks are, like you say, they're starting to recognize and wanting to work more with the people. Like someone like you, now you have 37 years in the business, they're going to want somebody like you to help them.
They're going to want someone that has the education involved in negotiating a short sale, putting the package together, make sure that you got bank statements, pay stubs, that you got a hardship letter, that there's all the paperwork that we put together to process a short sale. That's what the banks want.
So it definitely sounds like an excellent solution for a homeowner who needs to sell, but might be upside down in their mortgage, meaning they owe more than what the property is worth.
Right.
What would be the 4 critical things in processing for a short sale?
Another great question. The reason most short sales fail is because real estate agents don't present the property to the marketplace, and when they get a purchase agreement, they don't have the buyer do a home inspection right away. They don't have earnest money put in the bank. They don't have a second pre-approval done on the buyer, and they send purchase agreements to the bank that are too low. And they send multiple purchase agreements to the bank. In other words, they'll keep sending purchase agreements to the bank. We don't believe that's the right way to do it. We get the best purchase agreement we can, the best buyer we can, earnest money in the bank, home inspection done right away. These are 4 or 5 pillars to getting to closing a short sale successfully. If that buyer fails, by the time the bank says it's go, by the time the bank says we can do your short sale, and the buyer isn't strong enough, the whole thing falls apart. So one of the things we teach is that you always get a second pre-approval on the buyer buying the short sale. So we make sure they're good, because when the foreclosure is a time clock ticking backwards, and when it hits 0, you're out of time. You don't have time to go put it back together again. So it's critical that we make sure we have a strong buyer. It's critical that the home inspections are done right away. It's all these things, that the purchase agreement is strong enough for bank approval. These are the pillars to a successful short sale.
That's very, very important to know and understand all this. I've been in the mortgage business before, and I got to be honest, I did not know all of this. I've read that only 20 to 30% of short sales even go through. Why are there so many short sales that are failing to close nationwide, and what has been your success ratio on short sales?
We're probably doing 9 out of 10, somewhere in that range, so probably 90%. And we've probably done 200 plus, maybe 300 over the last 4 years, worked on that many short sales. So it's so that's a significant improvement over the national average. Yeah. And the reason that there's so many failures is because the real estate agents are not educated in the process. I'm not saying they're uneducated real estate people. I'm just saying in this one narrow area that we call short sales, you need to have specific education. And so the course that I teach, the CDPE, which stands for Certified Distressed Property Expert, is so recognized in our country. As a matter of fact, in the state of Minnesota, 11 hours of continuing education credit are given to the real estate agents that take the course in this state. So real estate agents need 15 hours of education every 2 years, continuing ed. This course provides them 11. So it's also supported by the state of Minnesota. It's all in the education.
All in the education. And how many realtors have you trained?
I would say probably, I'm gonna say probably around 1,000 here in the Twin Cities, and then many more thousands around the country.
Well, first of all, your closing ratio is very impressive, and many people out there I know are in danger to a foreclosure or losing their home. This is really important to know all these options. So one of the things that we're hearing about is this phantom tax bill that's helping people. Can you give us more information on this, and how much longer is this going to last?
The phantom tax bill was signed into law in 2007, and it expired in 2010, and it was renewed to 2012. And what the phantom tax bill does is it allows the taxpayer a way for not paying the income taxes on the amount of money the bank loses as a result of a short sale. See, the bank loses $100,000 on a short sale, let's say. They don't want to pay the income taxes on that loss, so they send it to the homeowner. The phantom tax bill that expires at the end of this year is a way to prevent the taxpayer from paying income taxes on that amount of money. And so it's huge if anybody, and that's for foreclosures or short sales. Either one, there's tax liability. And there's much more to that law, and I'd be happy to explain it to anybody that cares to know more. I mean, I could talk about that for a half hour.
And why don't we talk about, so your website, I know you have two, and one is an easier one to remember than the other, the freemovingtruck.com. What's another website?
The other one is teamfirnstahlhelps.com. They go to that website, they can spend a half hour on there. It tells them so much. There's so much information on short sales and the process. Very, very good to go check out.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being here. This is really important and needed information. I'm really happy that you're continuing to educate and encourage people on short sales to let them know that they have different options. I know that there are people watching out there that are in a financial crisis, or perhaps it could be someone that you know that is struggling and is not aware of all their options. Knowing your options can mean all the difference in the world. So please take advantage of Jeff Firnstahl expertise and give him a call, visit his website, and I can't recommend this more highly, and especially for somebody who's so well educated in this area. Thanks again, Jeff, and again, my special message to everyone is always, I believe with faith, hope, and love, we can accomplish anything out there. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.